Hey Vision Chasers, it's Dr. Bird here with another social studies lesson for you today. The Tulsa Race Riots of 1921 consisted of many white citizens acting unlawfully and violently towards black citizens living in a segregated section of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And it's estimated that up to 300 black people lost their lives in this senseless act of violence. So as I said before, like many areas around the country, Tulsa was segregated, and many black people lived in an area called Greenwood. Now, because of the discovery of oil in this territory, many of these African Americans were prosperous. As a matter of fact, Greenwood was called the Black Wall Street. There were stores, hotels, banks, schools, and theaters. And as I said before, many people here were wealthy. Now, it's important to mention that around the same time, that membership of the Ku Klux Klan had grown significantly. Membership was near 8 million by the mid-1920s. And many of these members had positions of influence within the community. Now, very similar to the Emmett Till incident, what sparked this riot was an alleged incident between two people, and still we don't know all of the facts of this encounter. But what we do know is that Dick Rowland was a black man, and because of the segregation laws, he was required to use a segregated bathroom. Now, in order to get to this bathroom, he had to take an elevator. Now, back during this time, it was common for people to be working in the elevator. These people were called elevator operators. Now, simply put, their job was to take people to the floor that they wanted to go to. On this particular day, the elevator operator was a white woman named Sarah Page. Now, again, it is uncertain exactly what happened in this elevator because only two people were there. But once Dick Rowland stepped off the elevator, he was accused of rape or attempted rape. And when word of this got around, being that he was a black man, he was immediately jailed in the county courthouse for rape charges. Now, making matters worse was that the local newspaper made the claim that he ought to be lynched because of his crime of rape. And this is before he had his due process. Now, many of the black citizens were concerned, and they feared that white citizens would gather up a lynch mob and go into Dick Rowland's jail cell and go and murder him in a very public and unlawful fashion. This was going on around the country. And in many cases, law enforcement officials who were supposed to protect people who were accused of a crime, they participated in these lynchings. So a number of black veterans from World War I, or the Great War to be historically accurate, they went down to the county courthouse to protect Dick Rowland. And they were armed in order to fulfill this job. So now you have a group of black citizens with guns and a group of white citizens with guns, and they're both angry, and ultimately chaos broke out. Many of the black citizens, they retreated to Greenwood, and the white citizens, they would jump into cars and they would pursue the black citizens who retreated to Greenwood. And again, this would result in the loss of many lives and damages totaling up to $1.5 million. This would be the beginning of 2 days of violence of whites towards blacks living in the section of Tulsa known as Greenwood. Now, I have for you an article that was written in 2015 in which one of the survivors of the race riots was interviewed, and her name is Olivia J. Hooker. And here's what this news article was able to gather from her. Dr. Hooker said her mother and grandmother hid the children under a table in their home. Her father and brother were taken away by the mob and held at a nearby baseball field with other black men. She remembered watching in horror as men with torches entered her backyard and set fire to doll clothes hung out to dry. The looters came inside, she said, ransacking the family's belongings, smashing music records, and taking a hatchet to her sister's piano, which her father had specially built by a piano maker in Arkansas. many black citizens of Greenwood feared for their lives during this night. Stores were burned and looted, and there were also reports of planes dropping highly flammable weapons on the town. And sadly, those who were actually a part of this mob were actually deputized and supplied with weapons and encouraged to attack citizens of Greenwood. Those who were not killed were rounded up and held in makeshift prisons. And hundreds of buildings and homes were destroyed, and many people were left homeless. Now, by the time the National Guard is able to step in and restore order, Greenwood is burned to the ground. And sadly, the city of Tulsa offered no help to rebuild the town of Greenwood. Now, in the aftermath of this incident, it was discovered that black citizens were being threatened all along to leave Tulsa because of the economic circumstances at the time. Jobs were scarce, and white citizens didn't want black citizens to take jobs from them. So in all, those who were arrested for the Tulsa Race Riots were black people, and as a result of the city's refusal to help the citizens of Greenwood, thousands of people spent that winter actually living in tents as they were homeless because their homes were burned to the ground. So Sarah Page did not even press charges against Dick Rowland, and she moved to Kansas City, and he actually was released. So as of this filming, there are 90 survivors left of the Tulsa Race Riots, and they're trying hard to get reparations for the things that they lost from the federal government. And as far as I know, they still have been unsuccessful. Well, that's our social studies lesson for the day. If you want to know more about the Tulsa Race Riots, please go ahead and download the worksheet that accompanies this video to further your understanding of this incident. Also, check the Vision Chasers website for more tips and tools to help you chase your vision of success. Thank you so much for watching, and until we meet again, keep chasing the vision.